Broadcasting from the Bishop West Real Estate Mobile Tower right here in Northport, Florida. I have a very special guest in the house, Commissioner Jill Luke. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I have to say thank you to Bishop. Bishop West. They are so good, so kind, and I'm very proud that they are part of this radio station.
Kind of cool, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Well, they've been a valuable piece to
Yes.
start this whole thing and then keep us going.
Yes.
But RJ knows how to work the machine. You know, he just kind of gets
Well,
the
they come into the
things going.
chamber and they do things within the chamber and stuff. And there's a lady, one of their realtors comes in, and it's just really good folks.
good active.
Yeah,
activity.
for the community.
Absolutely.
So it's really good. So thank you to them.
Awesome. Well, I know that there's other people out there that you want to thank.
Like 82,000.
Yeah. I mean, we touted the other last month on the show that you're probably one of the more active. There's got to be 3 clones now of you.
I'm triplets.
Because you're out there, you're everywhere.
Well, it wasn't for the position. If you remember back when I was with Patriot, I just stepped into marketing and got involved. The recession was going on at that point in time, and we needed each other as businesses and as individuals. We really needed to come together. And so I supported them in all of their fundraisers and as much as I could at the storage. And it just continued then when I got into office. And then you take on the duties that you get while you're a commissioner too. So it's been 13 years now of doing that.
Right. So nice and steady marketing.
I am blessed.
Well, and you've made a lot of good acquaintances along the way.
I have a huge family.
You do. The outreach program is fully intact, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, I will say that. It goes beyond the borders of Northport. Really come to embrace a lot of people, and a lot of people embrace me. It's been an honor and a privilege to represent my city and the good residents and citizens of this city. And hopefully they can feel that I did it with respectfulness.
Well, let's keep that trend going. And I want to know what your thoughts are now, because you've got how much time left?
About 2 months, maybe a few days shy of 2 months.
So in 2 months, what's out there that you really want to put a stamp on and say?
We already discussed that one last Tuesday. That was War Mineral Springs. I have been an active participant in War Mineral Springs, going to it since I moved here in 2009. Fell in love with it, knew what the potential was, and it was never addressed the way it needed to be addressed. It was a treasure. I mean, that is a diamond in the rough. So I knew what it was. And so finally, we put some money in the pot, in 2018 with the master plan, thinking that, we'll at least get through phase 1. We'll get the buildings so we don't have to be embarrassed with them, and we'll get that darn algae out of the pond. But it came up really short.
Right.
But that's natural. I mean, since 2018, look what we've gone through. Of course, it was going to be short. So we had the opportunity to look at public-private partnerships. It's called P3 for short. And the most excellent one arose. And the reason that I love these guys, they're going to honor the water, they're going to honor the ground, they're going to honor what has existed there for 30,000 years. And I love that. And that is special, that it's not going to be abused just like it has in the past, used for gaining of money, but it's actually going to be giving back to the existence of where it came from. So I'm pumped. So
are you allowed to talk about the partnership or not?
Oh, sure.
Who is the partner?
It's the Alicio Group, and they're calling themselves the War Mineral Springs Development Group. LLC. But Mickey Alicio and his family do a lot of stuff in Fort Myers currently. They're out of Chicago, also in Florida, and they already have a holistic nature to them. So when they viewed Warm Mineral Springs, it was popping ideas, what to do. Even the creek that we have not taken care of ever since I've been in office. We can do that. We can do that. Just this constant ideas of stuff flying around. And then Ashley Bloom, who is from CBN, I believe it is his company, and it's the Lotus branch. He has owned property in Northport for decades. He is the one who we purchased the property to build our utilities complex. He is bringing in affordable housing right beside where that complex is at. Very vibrant. I met him the opening day of the Braves. Remember that one event that we had, that one game? I met him for the first time. So in 3 short years, that man has become an integral part of the development of this city. So it's awesome. They're great people. They are holistic in nature in what they do. So it's going to be very honoring. It's going to be taking it where it needs to be, and I'm loving it.
All right. Well, so tell me what the vision is.
Well, they are being very true to what phase 1 was. Phase 1 was the restoration of the buildings, because we had the designation, the historical designation placed not just on the water, but in 2019, all 3 buildings. So Kimley Horn developed how it could be restored, and you have to be very careful when you're reconstructing things or restoring things so that you don't lose that designation. So they're going to do it exactly the way that they had put out. It will probably expand, make the infrastructure a little bit better, the water sewer type stuff. They'll probably beef that up a little bit. The Alessio group knows all of that. I'm sure the water, the grounds are going to be enhanced. Restaurant, spa will be coming back. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag about the restaurant, but I believe everybody is going to be thrilled when the restaurant comes and is named.
Okay. So we've got
only the 20 acres.
I know we've got an additional
62, but keep in mind too that that Cyclorama that hasn't been open for a long time. There's only 3 of them left in the United States. So that itself is something that's wonderful. And Ringling Museum of Arts, the president has already said he would like their students to be part of that restoring of the art. So sky's the limit.
Well, and you're right. You know, we've talked about this for years now, of course.
Yes.
And prior to that, even what Warm Mineral Springs could mean, it has meant a lot to a lot of people. But I hate to talk about it in the negative. That slice of pie just needs to get bigger.
Well, what needs to happen is we need to be proud of it, and we haven't been able to be proud of it because it's been so dilapidated.
Right.
And if you can't get past the dilapidation of the building to understand what the health is of the water, you're going to reject the water also.
Right.
It's human nature.
Correct.
It doesn't look good. It's not pretty.
You know, we talk about street appeal all the time.
Exactly.
And we have no street appeal there.
Well, by selling houses,
exactly,
how you have to dress them in order to get the bigger bang. And it's the same way with that too. But, I go there weekly, usually on a Sunday. Sometimes I am able to go 3 times a week. But I meet people from all over the state. And I have met a gentleman there. In fact, I'll be going there after this interview. He was an Olympic, going to go to Olympian, going to the Olympics in the triple jump. His trainer, though his knee was bothering him, said, "Get out there and do it." you know, you're number one or number two. He was ranked number 3 in the world at that point. He blew his knee out and they were going to amputate it. So he is now rehabilitating athletes. Physical therapy can get you so far, strength training can get you so far, but with him being a former Olympian, he can take that athlete and get them better than they even were. He believes in the Springs.
Sure.
He's like, the pitchers need to be here, those with the leg problems need to be here. And he would like to see that be part of the War Mill Springs also.
But that's something that really hasn't ever been a target.
I know.
We really never truly had a marketing plan for that, only because you have to have something really to present before you can get there. And correct. I think with having somebody to come in that has the idea, the game plan, and the thought process, and the admiration for the land itself.
Correct.
Okay.
Makes
so
a difference.
You put those things together, and you've got a good combination moving forward. And we're still going to be a partner with them.
We will own. It's a 99-year lease. We will own the property. They will be giving us $300,000 a year just because we own the property.
And that's not bad.
That is not bad at all, because they're putting in $9 million. We'll put in $9 million. They'll put in $9 million. It will be $18 million to get it where it needs to be.
And that doesn't include the back 60 acres,
no,
right?
That is just the 20.
Right.
There is an assessment being done of the property, but because people in the field that you're in who know how to assess properties and stuff, that $9 million is going to be over what the value of that 62 acres is.
Right.
It's all in an activity center. They will then be deeded that. So guess who gets all of that? Property tax and, the revenue coming in, because you have stays, and whenever you stay, that's more
money.
Exactly.
More tax.
Exactly.
More room tax.
Exactly.
Right.
So yes, win.
Right.
Win.
Well, as long as we listen, that's the whole key to keeping the trend going is accomplishing things as you go. You've been part of this process now for a long time, and War Mill Springs hasn't had a string of victories.
No, it's been abused.
Yeah.
When it was owned by the private sector, they were reeling in money, and that's all they cared about, and then the county and the city, what went on with that. And with the recession hitting and then COVID hitting, and timing is exactly now for this project. The right people, the right place, right time,
and
right project.
The blessing is while we have prices higher, we are not in an economic downturn here. We're still booming.
We are.
The city itself, we're going through some bigger changes with the permitting department.
Yes.
They're getting some new software. I know they've got new software, and that's, I think, helping. And
yeah, it should definitely help, because it wasn't so helpful previously.
Well, it was, when you're using 1960 software in the year 2022, things happen. But and I might be exaggerating it just a tad, not much.
It might have been the 90s.
Yeah, it might have been the 90s. We're still writing things down, but handing notes off. But the funny thing is we talk about things like that, but when you get the new software, when you get the private partnerships and things like that, these are victories not just for the city overall, but everybody that should
that's
be
a partner in it. The developers. Jason was the interim at that point in time. I think I would have been just coming in as mayor or something, and I had a meeting with the developers, and that's what it was on. Their permitting and how slow, and everybody else had a SILA, and it was just no brainer. We needed to get a SILA also, and that way everybody could talk, everybody knew what they were doing. It was the same thing used all over, this region and area. So it was a no-brainer. So finally getting to the point where we're able to get it implemented.
Well, and that still takes time to transition everybody over and train everybody and get everybody used to a different process.
But I have to say, thank you, but thank you to those developers who showed up in that meeting, and they said, we would like you to join us in a meeting. And they gave me the first part of their monthly meeting that they had, and they voiced, I don't know. No other commissioner knows. Staff doesn't know unless somebody speaks up and their voice is heard. So thank you to them. They really set us on a course at that point, and Jason was able to get the beginnings going, and Elena's finishing up for us.
Well, and it takes everybody being on the same page.
True.
That hasn't always been the case with staff and commissioners on every project. Not a bad thing. Sometimes you have to kind of battle through to get to the end means, right?
Well, I've had some discussions about being the team, and people don't understand being the team, not even in City Hall, because in the past, everybody looked at the commissioners as being the gods of the city. We're the gatekeeper of everything. We make every decision. No, we don't. We are policy setters, and we review the finances. The city manager takes care of implementing those policies in the day-to-day operation with the staff. The staff has to listen to their directors, and on and on and on, and everybody is a team player. Well, people get scared of commissioners. Staff will even be scared of commissioners. They should not be afraid of me. I should be able to be that elected official that is a representative for the voice of the people, and they should be able to talk freely to me as a team player, partner.
Well, why do you think that they're apprehensive?
It was a culture that was in previously, and that is changing.
Who's changing that?
Well, the biggest one, of course, is Jerome.
I know. I just thought I'd throw his name out there through you, of course.
But of course, he's new in the position. So is everything flawless? No, there's not everything flawless in what I do. That's how we learn. That's how we adapt. That's how we grow. But oh my goodness, the experience level that man brings, the professionalism,
I'm going to stick with your word. How about implementing a positive team atmosphere?
You're almost going to make me cry. Because
you only got 2 months left, so nobody's gonna...
Everybody knows I cry anyhow. But
my ratings will go up. Don't do it.
The staff was so burdened, and there was people leaving, and the environment was just horrible. I mean, you could cut the atmosphere with a knife in the hallways. And he came in, and I tell you, within a month, 6 weeks or so, there was a change coming, and you felt it. And it is so refreshing to see people enjoying their work, knowing that somebody's going to lift them up to be the best that they can be is great.
And it's been a while since we felt that.
I don't know if we truly have ever felt it, because again, timing is everything, and we've got this growth, and I've been saying that the city is in its teenage years, and I think we're about to graduate high school now.
Right. Well, that's nothing wrong with that.
We're looking at college now, going out.
We do have to pick the right college.
Exactly. And so we're turning the corner on where we are as a city, and we're establishing ourselves as a leader, and it's incredible. And again, right people, right time, right place, right programs. It's timing.
So I want to roll the clock back 8 years.
Okay.
Are we where you expected us to be from 8 years ago? What your vision was and what you thought we could accomplish? Did we get there?
Okay, 8 years ago, I was running Patriot Storage my history is I came in for only a year and a half to fill the vacancy that was left
Oh, that's
by
true.
Jacqueline Moore. So I've not been there the five
That's
and
true.
a quarter years. I will be going out only serving 5.5 years. So I don't get those extra 2.5.
That's true. So,
But
well-
5 years going in, I did not, nor did I campaign that I had these grandiose ideas and I wanted to achieve blah, 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 blah. I just wanted to come in and do the right thing. I was shocked when I got in there, because, I've run businesses, of how poor processes and that was. And there wasn't a process for this, or there wasn't a process for that. That, even though some of these other things that have been accomplished in the last 5 years are huge and people look at them, I take more pride in getting the processing and the leadership of the city in place more than anything else, because that sets you for a better future. You can't protect yourself if you don't have a policy to tell you how to do it. And in all those businesses that I've run, you have to protect yourself. It wasn't my business. I was running it for somebody else, just like the city being run for the citizens. So I had exposure to that, and I protected those companies. And it's very nice to be able to go out and know we are in such a better place with all of that than we were 5 years ago. It was scary.
don't you think that every commissioner kind of has that goal, though, is to leave it better than it was?
Yeah, if they didn't have that goal,
They
they
shouldn't be
didn't,
there.
exactly
They
right.
shouldn't
They
be
should have been there.
So we've got elections coming up. We've got all kinds of things happening that people should be engaging right now and paying attention. What would you tell listeners, because you're not on the ballot, but what would you tell listeners to
Throw away the political card. Throw it away. Local government it's not partisan. So you're not voting for a Republican or a Democrat. You're voting for somebody who cares about your city.
They're still trying to label that, though.
They do. And there's people talking about wanting to change it. Why? I mean, there is not a platform that you have to stand on to fix a pothole. It just
Right.
doesn't, it's not that way.
Local's
So-
different, isn't it?
It is very different. It is very different. So you're in the grocery store, you're driving down the same street as the people all the time that you're serving. And it is very different, and it's not political. It's supposed to be community. And again, I'm going to throw out Jerome's name with that community of unity. It fits in. We need to be unified. I mean, the way partisanship goes, they hate one another, and this one's better, that one's better, and just because of a label. I mean, it sounds like racism or something is what it sounds like to me. But you throw that out the window and just get the one who cares about making that city better than what it was when they came in.
So I want to step back again and talk about the unity side of things.
Yeah.
Because the team effort, the unity that comes into play with that statement,
Mm-hmm.
and the presentation he made when he first came here, those all wrap into where we're at today with Jerome at the helm. And I want to know what you truly think our direction and how well we're going at it right now with a city manager who really didn't know anything about our community, but came in with good solid foundation
Yes.
to take us where we need to go in the future.
Yes, he saw that. Within 5 minutes of his one-on-one interview with me, I knew he was the one. He had been scouring all the backup material or material that was out there on the city. He was looking at the comprehensive plan, the strategic plan. He saw all those holes. He looked at the staffing. He saw all those holes, but he knew he could bring something to improve it. And he knew his professionalism. He has confidence. And I love that.
It's
He
crazy.
leads with confidence.
Yeah.
And I love that. Wouldn't we all be great if we had confidence in what we excel in?
He's very engaging. So
Yes.
for sure.
Yes.
And that had to change City Hall as a whole.
Yes.
Not
It's empowering.
It is, and we kind of stepped on some staff toes earlier, but I want to ask you, if it wasn't for the quality of staff that we have and making changes under multiple leaderships, our staff really gets it done when they have good leadership in play.
It is being proven. It is being proven. We had a lot of holes when he came in. A lot of holes. Some of them were huge positions, high positions. And again, timing is everything. I mean, I have seen people put in an application and they fall by the wayside before they even come. But the applicants that we got, oh my goodness, they are so experienced. They're the right person for that right position under the right leader. And he's like, go get them, you know. They sit down, they talk. He's like, yes, let's do that. He's a yes man. He definitely is. Let's see how we can make it work. And that's what this city has needed. For too long, it was, nah, I don't think so. Nah. Now it's yes. But it's setting our city in a far better place than we have ever been before.
We're one of the youngest communities on this coast, really.
Yes.
On age. Do you feel like we're starting to, I heard you say we're going to college now.
Yeah.
But as a city, the trend is you have to be validated at some point from other surrounding communities. Do you feel like we're getting that respect now that we have
Definitely.
certain leaders in place?
Definitely. You know, I go outside of the city, sit on different boards and stuff, and Northport is talked about. Northport is discussed. There have been times where I have walked into events and they're like, Jill, you know, she's from Northport, set her up there at that table. I'm sitting at the head table with people and their own commissioners in the back of the room. We are definitely viewed in a different light, but we've got potential and we've got the leadership to use that potential to take us to the next level, and people are seeing that.
What's the draw? What's the draw to these other communities to have them see us differently? I've been here 23 years and I know we've attempted to shake that redheaded stepchild syndrome that we have. Used to have. I agree with you, because I'm sick and tired of it, because you get people that are in other communities that kind of put their nose in the air and think they're too good to be here.
Well, you want me to tell you the first part?
Sure.
Get it out of your own head.
Yeah. It is out of mine.
The people in Northport, get that out of your head.
Yep.
Get it off of your lips. Don't say it anymore. You're the chosen child, not the redheaded.
Well, I always hated the bed. We're a bedroom community. No, we're not.
We were established that way, but
I
we're
don't-
not
I
anymore.
don't care. We're not anymore.
No.
We you know, at certain points in time, you have to start shaking the labels that other people want you to be.
Exactly, and be who you know you are. But that was changing in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s. They came up with, you know, the activity centers and things like that. So there was some progressive thinking back then. We're enhancing that thinking and bringing it up to date where it needs to be with the activity centers. And
Well, things have changed since those have been into play with
exactly,
the market.
Exactly, and you need to
Adapt.
Yes, sir.
And you need to be the first.
Instead of hanging on to the old way.
So let's talk about this for a minute, because the truth of the matter is when you envision Sarasota, it's done. It's done. It's complete. It has empty spots that they can still build upon, but ours is a map that's open. It's wide open still, and we have different places that we can target different industries and do different things there.
And I know what you're saying. There's not anything large going to be coming in, but they're going up higher. That is how they're growing, is by getting higher. And the Bay project is tremendous project in
Sure.
downtown Sarasota.
Absolutely.
So they make changes, they update. So they're being inventive. They've come up with business parks and.
Well, we've had to though, because businesses actually,
Yes.
back even 5.5 years ago, if you go back 5.5 years and you think about the potential, hey, we could have a mall, we could have a movie theater. Okay. 1970, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to be the sounding board that people are going to listen to anymore. And now we've gone through a pandemic that's actually made seniors, and I'm going to say this because most of the senior base didn't want to have anything to do with online trust or purchasing online, but because of the pandemic, it kind of pushed everybody to, hey, if you want groceries, you might want to order them. So they're figuring things out in a different light than they would have without the pandemic. So we kind of pushed, I think, 20 years of advancement in technology, shopping online and doing things on. We just shortened it. So we don't have the goals of the Targets. Hey, we need an anchor store like Target. No, Target's not really building right now. They're not doing the same thing, but distribution centers, different things like that are coming in. I know that I read one case scenario that I think it's in Texas, that Amazon is now converted a mall and they have all their deliveries going out by drone.
Yes.
Well, that changes everything because now you don't have trucks on the road. You have drone flyers who are dropping packages at your door and then going back and picking up more. So now you have no truck drivers, but you have drone flyers who are now employed by Amazon to get the job done. Well, that's all well and good, but look how we just changed in 5 years that conversation, because Amazon didn't have that on their plate that fast until the pandemic. And they had to flip their game plan into overdrive because they saw that vision 15, 20 years out. They just never thought that they would get hammered like they did during a pandemic. Because I think the last time we weren't alive during the last pandemic, I don't think.
No, I'm not that old. Getting there, but I'm not that old.
I had to say it,
Yeah, okay.
But that's how fast that things have to change. And when you talk about local stuff, local does change faster than federal government.
Yes, the needs should be met quicker. We are finally getting to a place as a city that we are responding more quickly. So I'm proud of that too. It makes a difference if your leader looks at the list and wants to check the list off. So they empower the staff in order to get the job done.
Besides Wormwell Spring, what have you checked off your list?
Well, the policies and procedures and stuff like that are in a whole lot better place. The activity center restructure, the impact fees and stuff will be finalized with incentives. So trying to get that commercial base enlarged, but done in the right manner. You understand the market drives everything.
100%.
Exactly. In that same conversation that you were just talking about, stated again, market drives it. When you have that old mentality of the mall and you're not listening to the market telling you that they need mixed use in there, you're killing yourself.
We need to change our theory. These activity centers have to have some mixed use because we need to be able to put the workers above the buildings.
It is where the commercial base is going to grow so that we've got it in the right mix, the right balance, because we're getting there, but it's not quite there. Of course, Welland Park development has really bolstered that with their downtown coming in and stuff. So
how do you feel about where we're at with Welland Park?
I feel good about it. We have a great relationship with the developer. The people out there, I think, are awesome. Phil Stokes shows, how they care about the the older section of the city and engaged in it. And so I love it. I love that part of the city, but that was the plan to start with.
Yeah,
I mean, that's why
it's
it
never
was
changed.
No, it has just finally come to be.
Right.
It's not that somebody tried to spring something on them or they're any kind of what they call them, cash cow or whatever they claim that we use them for. No, we get more money out of the older section than we do that section, and they're only going to have maybe 50,000. The build out is 267,000 people in our city. So we existed without it, but we needed it for the commercial base.
I always tell when I hear that, I always ask the person on the other side a lot of times, do you put the energy into being part of your community as you do trying not to be part of your community? And I
that's
feel
a few of them.
that's a few.
Yeah.
There's a few, and I like to talk about the few because with the few comes distractions from others. You've got the insight. You get small groups that have, I guess, bigger hissy fits than us calm, cool, collected. Hey, let's just get this done.
The ones who understand how it was supposed to be to start.
They're
with.
calm.
You don't, yeah, because they understand.
Right.
Right. They know where they moved. They knew what was behind it. And to those who have the hissy fits, they want to change something. Well, to change it changes our entire strategic plan for 22 years.
Right.
No.
No.
Don't like where you
We got
live?
10 minutes left.
I know a good realtor.
No doubt. And listen, I can find you a place. And
Exactly.
The problem is I hate to say it, but if you like where you live and you just don't like where your mailing address is potentially going to be, I always said I thought we should have just bought a post office, built a post office, and then handed it over to the federal government and said, we have a post office right here across the street from all these people who live in Northport. Now we can change their mailing address to match. It probably would have saved us money.
No, you can't buy a post office. I mean, that's the.
I know. I'm
that's the
trying. I'm
federal-
just trying. I'm
that's
just
the
throwing
federal
that.
government.
But if you
But-
think it logically, if you just had a post office box, that problem with the mailing address wouldn't be there because
Well, you have a zip code, and the zip code is a Venice zip
sure,
code.
but
But I mean, I have seen the other zip codes because the only one that was truly Northport to start with was 34287. All the others was when everything was annexed in. And no, the zip code did not change. It stayed. They just put Northport on it. I have seen receipts out of the main post office there by City Hall said Venice, Florida on it because of the zip code.
there are certain business applications that I cannot put the city of Northport in. I have to put Venice because it
It's
recognizes
the zip code.
the zip code.
And GPS, all that
Yep,
stuff, you know,
100%.
does that. But
So
but
think
the
about
Warm,
that.
but Warm Mineral Springs has 34287, and that is unincorporated county over there where those houses are. But their address is Northport.
I know, it's crazy.
The 55 and over communities, guess what their zip code is? 34287. They're unincorporated, but their zip code and city is Northport.
Right.
It's all over the United States.
I know.
It depends upon what the zip code is. So
Go ahead.
you can put anything, you can put any town with that 34293 zip code out there, and you'll get there. You can put Welland Park, you can put West Village,
John
you
Rawlings.
can put
Put John Rawlings.
Yeah. Timbuktu, and it's going to get to them because that zip code knows where it goes. So mailing wise, but when you're in, trying to find the Brave Stadium, you've got to put, sometimes that Venice
Does pop up.
34293.
But, I said this to somebody who lives up in the Willow Park area, this a couple years back now. But I had mentioned that, everybody up here uses Venice and they think they're in Venice, and we're not connected to Venice, by the way. So you're connected to unincorporated Sarasota County,
Correct.
but you're not connected to Venice.
No.
So stop using the theory that we're Venice. You're just Northport with a Venice mailing address.
Well,
First off.
that's
ahead.
where it breaks down. They don't understand the boundaries of an incorporated city
Correct.
and then the unincorporated county.
County.
They don't get that. I've had so many people who live in the unincorporated county with the Northport address. I live in Northport. No, you don't. You live in the county.
County.
I mean, it's the same thing, but in reverse. So it happens all the time. To me, it is what it is. You live in the city, your address is Venice, so what?
But that's a vision that started over 20 years ago when we all voted to annex it in.
Exactly. That was
And
citywide.
so, yeah, so it was.
Yes.
It was a citywide vote. And now just a handful of people are trying to flip it upside down on its ears. Because I guess not just you commissioners, but all of us had a scheme up our sleeve to do something wrong there. I'm not sure what, but aren't we on task to do what we said we were going to do 20 plus years ago?
We are very well on task. And the developer of Welland Park is extremely good partner. They are loving being in the city.
So, as far as that goes,
Let me
go
throw
ahead.
this out. There is 2/3 of Welland Park is in the city of Northport. 1/3 of it is in unincorporated. They have gotten so-called approvals to build in the unincorporated part. No dirt's been turned yet. Wonder why? That is the benefit for those, one of the benefits for those developers being in the city. We react, we help them. And that's the reason they came to start with us to begin with,
Yeah.
because the county wouldn't let them develop down there. They wanted North County to develop first, not South County. So they approached Northport, would you consider annexing us in? Yes.
So we've got about 4 minutes left.
Okay.
So,
Well, that really.
well, technically we do.
Okay.
So we're 4 minutes left.
Yeah.
What is your thought on what you would tell people about your time spent as commissioner?
You are going to make me cry.
All right.
Yeah.
That's my job.
No, that's not your job.
Yes, it is.
This has been the highest privilege and honor that I've ever had in my life, is to serve the people of my community. There's no way 5.5 years ago I knew what I was getting into. I just wanted to do the right thing, wanted to help where I could, had no idea that it was going to change me. It made me a better person. It definitely did.
What are you going to hand off?
A better city than when I came in.
Yes, but what are you going to hand off to whoever wins the election? What are you going to try to tell them?
I'm already prepping one of them. One of them I talk to probably every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. So that prepping is vitally important. Being engaged with the citizens before you're elected is very important. They have to know you. They have to be able to trust you, especially if Facebook puts out lies about you and stuff, which it does. Every candidate goes through it, but they have to know who you are and trust you.
Have both candidates reached out?
No.
Okay.
One has.
One has. So,
And his name rhymes with my first name.
and you mentioned it
Phil
already.
Jill.
But I'm having both of them on my show, and I've had one on twice, and I've got Victor coming up, and what I find to be the moment of engagement for people is what do you do as a commissioner to hand off? How was it when you came on board?
The very first time that I met Phil, it was at a fundraising event for the Art Center. He was already plugged into the community. That's where I met him. that is what I would love to hand off to somebody, is getting out into the community, being active, being seen, being that representative, and do it professionally and ethically. Be above board, just do what's right.
And so you don't need an R or a D next to your name to do that.
Actually, you're better off not having an RFT beside your name, because you don't need it. You
It
don't
doesn't
need
exist in the
It does
grand
not.
scheme of things, does it?
It does not.
So how much time we got?
Let's go over a couple of minutes.
Yeah, let's go over a couple minutes.
You were a little late, so let's go over.
All right. So, I've got RJ sitting in the studio, and I know he's probably sitting there thinking of a question, but do you have anything you want to say, RJ?
No, not today.
Not today. I just threw him on the spot because, the station has changed a lot because of the relationships, and we were talking about this before. What do you have to add as far as the relationships that you've built here at the station and how this has changed?
I am
lot of
so
things.
proud of RJ, so proud of the station, so proud of the volunteers. To see them raise the money that they did because of that lightning strike, because the community feels as though that's their community radio. When RJ shared the little old lady coming and writing that $10 check, and I want to help my radio station. Being part of the community that's what counts.
You're gonna make me cry now.
Come on, we just fall together.
Right.
But RJ and I sat down. RJ and I have been friends the entire time, and I cherish his friendship. We sat down before it even got started. And so I have supported him, his efforts, his vision, his dream from day one. And that is getting where it was striving to be, the same way the city is
That's what I was
finally
gonna say.
getting where it is striving to be.
There has to be a good combination with the media side that we have a shortcoming on, other than the radio station. We've got the newspaper, but when you take a city our size and the outpouring of information that is needed, we've got a great website. We've got great staff trying to get that information out.
Communication is vital
It
within
is.
a community. You have to know over and over and over. People, well, I would have been there if I knew about that. So that source of where all that communication comes from is vitally important the larger the city gets.
What do you think, and we only got a couple more minutes, but what do you think we need to do as a city to get our citizens more engaged? That's a tough question because it's something you've been trying to do for 5.5 years, but you're being out in the community is a big bonus.
Yeah, well, I see people being engaged. I'm not the one with a down mouth about people being engaged, because I believe they do. But we've got a lot of families, and we all remember raising those kids and
Busy.
driving around. Oh, man, you're busy. So it's really hard to get really engaged unless it's within your neighborhood or your friends or your kid's school or something like that. And I would definitely hope that they would engage in their children's school and the activities there. But otherwise, we've got, man, we just put on so many people on the advisory board this last one. They're coming out to help. So I'm not disappointed. I'm really not. I think we have a very active community, and I appreciate everybody who takes part, whether it's talking to you in the grocery store, attending a meeting, whatever.
Well, we all love you.
I love
We
you
care
guys,
about
too.
you. You know
Thank
that. It's been a pleasure talking with you for 5.5 years.
Yeah, can I just add, some people don't know what I'm going to be doing, and I had promised my mom that I would take care of her. So when I'm out of office at Thanksgiving, I'm going to go up and get my mom from Michigan, bring her down, and she's going to be living with me. So that's a 24/7 job.
Yep, it is. It is. But you know what? You deserve that time with her too.
Yes, she needs to be at peace.
Yep,
She needs
absolutely.
to be at peace.
Well, we love you. Thank you so much for being
Love
on
you.
the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right. We'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great night. Be safe on the roads. This is John Rawlings saying, see you on Friday. Bye bye now.
Okay, you're clear.